As all attempts to, uh, to change our constitution, it must be a constitution by the people. And now, as to whether or not this will finally be found in the final draft that will be ratified in Congress, the people should take, the initiative, uh, because Congress are their representatives, but they may not necessarily be, their position may not be necessarily be reflective of the demand, a strong demand for the dismantling of political dynasties. And so therefore, I would like to appeal to our congressman to take heed of this demand for political reforms. Otherwise, we will have a constitution that shall perpetuate this unjust and unfair system whereby a few families will dominate the political scene. Of course, this will be balanced by realities. There could be some innovation such that there could be, let us say, increase in the degree of relationship, of those who would be qualified to run. It could be reduced to first degree, so that others can also participate. Other members of the family can participate. But the CONCOM is steadfast on its proposal that if we want to succeed in a federal form of government, then we must dismantle political dynasties.
But if Congress does away with it, you cannot do anything, no?
Of course, it will be Congress that will finally decide
Yes.
on that. But whether it will be reflective of the people's, growing demand, that should be seriously considered.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Rose?
I-follow up ko lang po, sir, yun pong question about dun sa anti-political dynasty. How do we encourage people to support the anti-political dynasty provision kung mismong ang Pangulo po ay hindi naniniwala na maipapasa yun sa Kongreso?
Well, of course, I come from Davao City. There are, even during the deliberations in the CONCOM, I say that there are good dynasties and bad dynasties. Davao City would be, of course, an exception to the ills of political dynasties, because we have a good dynasty in Davao. But that is an exception to the rule. Ewan ko kung yung sinabi ng Pangulo na that will not pass in Congress, if he believes that the rightfulness, the righteousness, the correctness of that proposal. I think he just stated that it might not pass Congress. But I don't know. I have not heard his statement. I did not say that it is wrong. No, it may not pass Congress, but I have not heard that he said that it is wrong. Because when we submitted the draft to him, he said he agrees with the draft.
Follow-up, Rose?
Basahin ko lang po kasi yung pong transcript nung sinabi ni Pangulo. Pero meron pa nga anti-dynasty dyan na hindi mapasa-pasa. Hindi yan mapapasa, kaya hindi man papayag si Maylene dyan. Hindi na yan mapapasa, maniwala ka. So, yun po yung statement ni Pangulo last night. And yung umiiral din po kasi na sistema sa ngayon na yung mga tao ay talagang lumalapit po sa mga clans. Kumbaga, nakadepende po sa mga clans.
Well, wala pa tayong masasabi dyan sa statement ng President. Wala naman siyang sinasabi na mali. Ang sinabi na lang, hindi maipasa. Dahil sa nature ng Kongreso. Pag tingnan mo ng Kongreso, 90% dyan ay galing sa mga dynasties. So how could they, that is according to statistics, no? There was a study presented to us during our deliberations, and 90% of members of Congress come from dynasties. uh, we would like to change effectiveness in governance. And so therefore, this issue on political dynasties should be seriously considered. Otherwise, if we have a federal, even if we have a federal form of government, if it will still be dominated by political dynasties, I don't think that it will be effective and it will succeed to address issues on effective delivery of public services, justice, and other related issues.
Thank you, Joyce. Any more question? Asik Malaya, balikan ko lang yung kanina, yung sinabi nyo tungkol doon sa recommendation nyo tungkol sa alisina sa COMELEC, yung pagtutok sa mga electoral protest.
Yes.
Paano magiging setup noon na Asik Malaya? At saka kung sakasakaling ma-aprobahan nyo doon sa proposal nyo, gaano katagal yung itatagal ng bago makapaglabas ng resolusyon sa isang electoral protest?
Komplikado kasi yung ating sistema ng electoral protest, no? May mga kaso na fina-file sa regular courts, RTC. May mga kaso naman if it refers to the qualifications and membership in Congress, no? At ito'y pumupunta sa House of Representatives Electoral Tribunal. At yung Senate naman may sariling Senate Electoral Tribunal. At pag protesta naman sa Vice President or President, Supreme Court through the Presidential Electoral Tribunal. At nakikita naman natin yung yung tagal ng pag-usad. Like dito sa protesta sa pagka-Vice President, because ang gumagawa ay mismong ang Supreme Court, napakatagal bago matapos ang mga protesta. At sa House of Representatives Electoral Tribunal naman, madami ng pagkakataon, isang session day na lang ang ipinasok nung nanalong congressman, yung supposedly. The reason for this is because ang dami-daming mga sobrang napakadaming kaso at yung sistema natin hindi maganda. Now, again, the COMELEC is also saddled by electoral protest. At ang COMELEC ay hindi niya malaman kung ano ba talaga ang trabaho niya kasi in one instance, he is a quasi-judicial entity deciding electoral protest. At on the other instance, siya naman yung nagpapatakbo ng ating mga halalan. Kaya madalas, pagkausap natin ng COMELEC, tinatanong natin sila tungkol sa ano ba opinion nila. Sinasabi nila, ayaw namin mag-opinion dyan kasi kami rin naman ang magdidesisyon tungkol dyan later. So, it's very complicated. So, maganda po itong naging proposal ng CONCOM na linisin yung sistema at alisin sa mga ahensyang ito ang mga trabaho in so far as election protests are concerned at ilagay sa isang body which is the Federal Electoral Court. And we feel that this kind of judicial reform will speed up the disposition of electoral cases because it will declog the courts of election protests and election contests.
Thank you, Asik Malaya. Would you like to add something,
Yep,
Attorney Prakasya?
Yung sa proposal po ng CONCOM ay may mga deadlines, no? Yung pag-decide ng mga cases. 2 years sa mga cases in the high courts, yung time frame to decide cases is 2 years from filing of the petition. Yun naman sa petition on the part of collegiate courts, they only have 1 year to decide, no, from the filing of the petition. And then 3 months from submission of the cases for decision in trial courts. In other words, may mga deadlines, no. Meron din akong hinahandle na kaso nung una na yung nanalo sa election ay nanalo siya 3 days before election. At maraming cases na ganon. No? Meron namang namamatay na lang, hindi pa na-decide yung election cases. So in order to avoid this, we have to distribute cases to different appropriate courts, which we call 4 higher courts in the new constitution.
Thank you, Attorney Prakasya. Any more question? Additional, sir?
Wala. Well, kung magtatapos na tayo, hihikayatin ko lang ating mga kababayan, no? Yung Barangay Assembly Day ngayong October 14. The DILG is really encouraging everyone maximum participation po ng lahat ng ating mga barangay para sa barangay assembly.
Asek, briefly lang siguro, may issue in connection sa filing of COCs ngayon eh. May controversy ngayon doon sa gawin ng Makati, di ba? That sinasabi Junjun Binay can no longer run as mayor. As far as the ILG is concerned, sir, ano ba talaga yung status? Can he still run or hindi na?
Ikaw talaga, in-on the spot mo ako. Actually, inaaral na po namin yung ngayong araw kasi pumutok yung issue kagabi na supposedly may perpetual disqualification si former Mayor Junjun Binay. No? Yung kasi pong decision na yan supposedly came from the Ombudsman. But I understand that there was an appeal made. So if there was an appeal made to the courts, hindi pa po final and executory. Okay. But I don't wanna speak with finality here kasi nga I've asked my staff already to check with our records kung meron ba talagang perpetual disqualification na final and executory si Mayor Junjun Binay.
Thank you, Asek.
I don't have the data. I don't have the data right now because I was rushing here for the Federalism. But we will I've already asked my staff to check kung meron nga bang final kasi if the ombudsman had that penalty against him and he filed an appeal, he elevated it to the Court of Appeals, no? Ibig sabihin, hindi pa yun final and executory and he can still run. But I do not have the facts right now, so I cannot speak with finality.
Thank you, Asik Malaya. MPC, Rose, please.
Hingi lang po kami ng latest kasi kagabi natanong din si Pangulo kung willing siyang i-release yung pong mga narco politicians list. So ano po yung latest na stand ng DILG? Pinupursu pa rin ba nating i-release yun? Or paano natin ma-inform yung taong bayan about these people na hindi naman yan discreet? I mean, yun po.
Well, ang naging pronouncement po ni Secretary Eduardo Año is that we are going to release the list of all of those narco politicians. And we are also going to forward to the Commission on Elections all of those lists in the narco politicians and those with cases to the Commission on Elections for their proper disposition. Nasa ano na po yun? Nasa Commission on Elections na po kung paano nila yun, how they will handle that concern.
So may copy po ang Commission on Elections pero nasa kanila yung decision kung anong gagawin dun sa listahan.
We have not yet forwarded to them. We have not yet forwarded kasi this is simply the period of filing of certificates of candidacy. So in the foreseeable future, as pronounced by Secretary Eduardo Año, we will forward to the Commission on Elections the list and we will leave it to the Commission on Elections on how to dispose of this.
Pero sir, di ba, pwede lang hindi tanggapin yung filing ng candidacy kapag ka meron ng final na resolution sa isang kaso. So, hindi pa naman nakasuhan tong mga sinasabing narco politicians. So, ano yung gusto nyong maging aksyon ng COMELEC in particular pag binigay nyo sa kanila yung list?
We will leave it now to the COMELEC, no? Kasi nasa kanila na ngayon kung anong gusto nilang gawin doon. Basta kami, insofar as the DILG is concerned, we have this list, we forward it to them, and we will leave it to them how they will dispose of it.
Sir, anong action, by forwarding it to the COMELEC, anong point? What action are you going to expect from the COMELEC?
Well, Secretary Año mentioned this, that we would want them to be disqualified, no? But there are some legal impediments kasi, no, as mentioned already by some election lawyers. So, insofar as we're concerned, we would like the public to be informed of the list. We would like them to know that these are those with pending cases. Now, if they are to be disqualified or not, that's no longer the call of the department. It's now the call of the Commission on Elections.
Okay. Sige.
You said foreseeable future. Are we talking about during this period of filing and then right before the elections in May?
I think after the filing.
Thank you, Joseph.
Pwede mong follow up? Sir, kung walang action ng COMELEC dun sa list, anong next step ng DILG?
I think we'll cross the bridge when we get there. Kasi, this is a very volatile situation. ang naging desisyon namin nung nakaraang eleksyon for barangay was we talked with PDEA and we released the list to the public. No, we don't know if we will also do it this time. We will have to check first with the President kung ano yung kanyang decision on this. During the last time we released that list, we got a approval from the Office of the President prior to doing so.
Thank you, Asek. Joyce, siguro last 2 questions. Kasi siya na, Asek,
Ikaw kasi.
Asek, sabi nyo hindi nyo pa na-forward yung list. Kailan po ninyo target ibigay yung list sa COMELEC?
After the filing of COCs. During the campaign period, yes.
Okay. Bakit yun po yung timing?
After the filing.
Why only after the filing, sir?
We're still compiling. Kasi yung listahan po kasi hindi naman po yan open-ended copy. The PDEA list it comes from PDEA. It's not DILG list. The PDEA is the repository of the narco list. It's not us. What happens is all of the government agencies contribute to this list, and it's PDEA that verifies and validates the list. So we will have to wait first for PDEA to give us the final list, and then we will make that decision in consultation with the Office of the President.
Anong status, sir, ng mga nandoon sa list? Under investigation pa din?
Yes.
Case build-up?
Yes,
Okay.
case build-up.
Then you mentioned, sir, kanina na one of your reasons why you want to give a list to the COMELEC is you want the public to know about the list. Why not just make a press conference or give out the copies directly to the media?
Well, again, the purpose is hopefully for the COMELEC to disqualify them from running. However, as I said, there may be some legal impediments. So, if the COMELEC tells us that officially, that we cannot proceed, we cannot grant your request, the ILG, because there are some legal issues insofar as constitutionality is concerned, then we will reassess what we need to do. Perhaps we may release the list to the public, just like what we did during the last barangay elections. But again, I cannot speak with finality because we will have to consult with the Office of the President.
Sir, hindi pa final yung list, no? So wala pa tayong roughly number of politicians in the list?
Yes.
And the highest position in the list? Wala
Yes,
pa.
we don't. And I don't have that data also right now because this press con was about federalism.
Okay. MPC, last question. And
So
one
legal
follow-up.
basis for disqualifying these narco politicians? Anong magiging legal basis natin?
Hindi, it's just our proposal. No, it's just our proposal.
If you want them disqualified, I'm sure you have ways to make them disqualified.
Hindi naman siguro. We cannot invent things just for
at the
them
very
to
minimum,
disqualify.
this is just a libelous statement from the DILG, diba? If you're going to just name them and then make it up to leave it to the COMELEC to do whatever, diba? Paano nila i-disqualify yun? On the basis of, intelligence...
not necessarily libelous statements because we have not named them anyway. So we are just going to provide this list to the Commission on Elections, and we hope that the Commission on Elections will be able to find a legal basis.
You're going to give the COMELEC a problem, right? I mean, from your level, you don't know what to do with this list, and then you give it to the COMELEC, and then up to them to do whatever.
Both agencies have their own mandates. The mandate of the DILG is to ensure that we elect good officials who are able to perform their mandate, who are not in any way connected with drugs, no? And the mandate of the COMELEC, on the other hand, is for them to make sure that only those who are deserving should be allowed to run. So we are taking this from our position. Now, we forward it to COMELEC. COMELEC will take a look at it. If COMELEC says, I'm sorry, the ILG, we cannot grant your request because there may be some legal issues, then we will take it at that. We will respect whatever decision the COMELEC does.
So on your level, limiting it just to the DILG, do you think the COMELEC can disqualify these narco-politicians based on your information?
We would rather say hope. We hope that the COMELEC will disqualify them.
Okay. Thank you, MPC. Thank you so much, DILG Assistant Secretary Jonathan Malaya and Attorney Randolph Parcasio. Let's go back to the main studios of Radyo Pilipinas and PTV.
Next, please. Next. Babangon ng marami. Long, me next to. Babangon ng marami. Ito na kasunod. Inaano lang. Pag lumabas yung mga tao dun sa start na.